Murtz Jaffer here with Kyra and another Big Brother Canada 7 eviction interview. We are here on finale night. Kyra, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling, as good as I can be right now, but it's nice to be out. I have to say that the elephant sitting on my chest has finally gotten up and taken a stroll. I'm proud of how far I've come, but obviously I'm disappointed. I would have liked a different outcome, but Dane deserves it.
Do you think that you could have beaten either of them with the jury had you made it there? Had either Dane or Anthony taken you or vice versa, do you think you had the votes?
I don't think I could have beaten Dane. I think there's a chance that I could have beaten Anthony, though. Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about sort of like the opening of the game. Obviously you were really emotional at the beginning of the game. How did that sort of quell over time? When did you sort of start to find your comfort zone?
So I think for me, adapting in this house was very difficult. I felt comfortable and safe with only two people in this game at the beginning, and that was Sam and Chelsea. And so I relied on them maybe a little too much as my comfort in order to feel okay, that anywhere else didn't feel safe almost. And for me, it definitely, every strength and every weakness in your life is heightened in this game. And I am emotional in my life, not nearly this emotional. I think the pressure got to me, and I felt different from other people, and I was having a hard time connecting, and I definitely psyched myself out. But being put on the block week 2 was a wake-up call, and it pushed me to kind of change things. And then when Chelsea left, it pushed me more outside of my comfort zone. And I think throughout this game, I tried my best to learn from my mistakes, as well as other people's mistakes that I witnessed, right?
Was it your strategy to sort of align with the power? Like you went from Chelsea to Sam. Like was that an active plan that you had at the top of the game?
I was close with Chelsea and Sam day one, right? So it wasn't. I didn't go from Chelsea to Sam, but I was closer to Chelsea because Sam was always with Adam, right? So when Chelsea left, I had Sam. And the problem was I felt very close to them on a personal level, but on a game level, I wasn't entirely sure if I could trust them wholeheartedly. But at the end of the day, you have to work with what you have, and you have to be adaptable. And I definitely saw that the longer, people thought that I could be controlled and that I was weak just because I was emotional, the more time I would have to crack foundations of these very strong alliances that were very obvious, that we knew about very early on, and also to eventually strike back.
Let's talk a little bit about that. I remember when you won that HOH, you said that you were going to make the biggest move of the season. You put up Adam and Dane. Tell me more about that. I looked at it and I said, okay, yes, this is definitely a big move, but wasn't that the only move to make at that point in the game?
I don't know if it was the only move, to be honest. There was other moves to make, and I definitely felt good with Adam before I nominated him. So putting him up was a risk of, having him go against me, right? But at the end of the day, after I put them both up, Adam exposed how loyal he was to the Pretty Boys, and his, kind of outrage and everything showed that he had so much pride in it that he would go to lengths to keep that intact until the end. So I knew if I could get Adam out rather than Dane, it would be more of an advantage to me, because I knew that Dane saw it beneficial to bring me further because he thought that he could beat me. So that's when I kind of decided to give Dane the option of his back was so far against the wall, and I asked him if he would go against Adam, and he seemed keen. And I knew that we couldn't get Adam out the next week without Dane, because me, Anthony, and Mark, we're not super strong competitors. And in physical comps, we could use a strong competitor to go after a stronger competitor.
You're actually answering my next question, because I was going to ask you, what sort of prevented you from taking out the strongest player in the game, who actually ended up winning? But that clearly makes sense. So the plan was basically keep Dane to take out Adam.
Exactly. I knew if Dane was not there, even if Dane was there and Adam won that veto, I would be gone. 100% I would be gone. So my goal was to make it as far as I can and then fight to win. And I knew as soon as I nominated them, Adam exposed his blind beauty loyalty to this Pretty Boys, where he was obsessed with how brilliant it was and everything. And it made it very clear that he would not go against that. So I knew he had a good chance of winning the veto the following week. I would be going home if he stayed and I didn't have someone to go against him. So, yeah, I kept Dane to go after Adam and give me more time in this house.
You chose not to use the blood veto, and you could have, used it on like Mark. Do you think that when Mark ended up going home on your HOH, couldn't you have saved yourself a little bit of time? You should have just taken him out when you had the chance, or did your relationship change over that time?
Well, first of all, taking out Mark at that time with the blood veto would have had, the whole house very upset with me, especially because all week I'd been preaching for Kiki to leave. Yes, I knew that he was with the Pretty Boys, but I saw that the Pretty Boys kind of saw him as disposable by how they were acting that week that he was on the block, and he also kind of was the weakest link. So I saw it more beneficial to get out numbers around Dane rather than Mark, because Mark seemed like the type of guy that would more likely run to power and backstab people that he was loyal to. I think he was just loyal to them because they had power the whole time. So obviously, who wouldn't be? But my goal was to get closer each week to taking out Dane, and that meant getting out Kiki.
And last question for you is this. Obviously, you had a great run in the Big Brother Canada house. What was the best part for you about having this platform?
Being able to speak my truths and share my story, and I feel like I've educated the people that I've been in this house with. They caught on so fast with the pronouns. I'm beyond proud of them. It was amazing to see such a diverse group of people want to learn about it and be so open to it so quickly.
And I'll tell you this. I interviewed the whole pre-jury.
Yeah.
None of them, all of them use the pronouns, even in all of their interviews. Yes.
That's amazing. No, yeah, just to know that I've gotten through to people in the house, and I'm sure outside of the house, and that is beyond an honor, because growing up, I didn't have role models to look at. I didn't have people in the non-binary or queer community to look at and be like, oh, that's what I feel like. So it was much harder for me to figure out who I was and accept who I was, because you feel more isolated and alone. So to be able to actually be here and speak my truths and educate people, I know is going to be making a big difference. So I'm proud.
Amazing. Kyra, thank you so much. Congrats.
Thank
you so much.